Am I ready? We are.
I think we're live. This is one of those things where you get on stage with your ex and you gotta see me at my best. You gotta see what you missed out on. Y'all, welcome to Divorced and Dating Others with LaDonna, Raeh, and Warren I. Warren, you didn't have to clap. I had to clap.
Well, I was joining the crowd.
Oh,
okay. I was joining with the crowd.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'm so excited. Guess what? We have our first guest on tonight. This is actually a guest that we spoke up last week, and they agreed after being invited.
That's wonderful. That's my friend. Yeah, that's my friend.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a minute. I haven't seen my guy in a minute. I can't wait.
Well, I don't see him now. So Gia, you may want to find out where he is. Where he at? But anyway, welcome to Divorced and Dating Others. Warren and I, we used to be married a long time, well, not even that long ago. We just got our divorce papers officially done during the pandemic. Do you remember? I filed in like 2019 and it didn't happen till 2020 because they were like no court dates. And I was like, what the? I don't have a bleep button.
Hey, tell them the whole story because that's only half of it. I'm over here sweaty as I don't know what.
What do you mean that's only half of the story, Warren? My half of the story is the one I'm telling you. I filed the papers in what, October of 2019, and okay, I didn't get a. Go ahead.
You want to tell the whole story though?
Is there more? Oh shucks. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had actually went and did the whole thing and got the paperwork rolling and all that kind of stuff. And
when did you do the whole thing?
I delivered it to your house. I delivered it to your house.
No, you did not. I still got the yellow envelope. What are you talking about? You did it. I did the whole thing. I brought it to you.
No, I brought it to you, and then you never signed. I said, you got to sign this, that, and the other, and you never signed it. I know. I'm not proud of it, actually. Actually, I'm glad it went the way it did because,
you initial papers. I forgot about those.
Yeah, I know. I got the ball rolling, but I didn't. Well, like I said, it happened the way you went ahead and got stuff rolling. But before that, I got some stuff rolling, and I just didn't roll it out.
Roll it out. Okay. Well, I mean, here's the deal. We got Lindoria Story is watching. Dr. Lindoria Story is watching, and she's letting us know that she's watching. Welcome, Lindoria. And she said, "Why did you divorce?" Uh-oh. Dum.
Why did we divorce? It's so far removed. Let's say two things. To me, it's so far removed, and also my mindset is so far over with. I really don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. We had some reasons. If we go ahead and, I've gone through counseling. I'm sure everyone's moved on. I know that if I go ahead and remember all those things, maybe I may not be able to unpack it right. I think I will, but I don't want to risk it.
Right.
So it was a lot. If I can go through my memory, it was a lot of little bitty things that, God wasn't in. So it just festered in big things, a lot of big things. I think it was. Anyway, like I said, I really, truly don't want to go backwards in that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why I divorced Warren. Okay. So what happened was, we were together for a long time, and yes, but we just didn't connect. It was like we turned into roommates. We turned. Nice. What do you mean? We were like roommates. What? Why are you turning the camera again?
And my fault, because the camera. Never mind. Go ahead. Go with the story.
Okay. So, like I said last week, it was like a matchbook. If you were to take a match and strike it, it just wouldn't catch fire. So I felt like I was so lonely. And the loneliest feeling is when you're with someone and they're in the house and you're still lonely. We could not connect. It was just something happened along the way. And that is really what
you're talking about. I think you are talking about the okay, it's something, the cause and effects. You're talking about the effects. You're not giving the cause. And I'm saying that I can talk about the cause. My fault. I can talk about the effects, but I can't, get into that the cause. This cause is like the bigger thing.
Well, I'm sure it'll come out later. So I want to. Well, I was gonna bring on our guest, but I lost my host. By the way, I can see you all's faces in the lobby. It's just so telling. I can't wait to bring you guys on this stage. This is gonna be so much fun.
You can hear the dog in the background. That's why I went in and took care of that.
Oh, wait, what'd you do? You kicked him out? Is that my dog?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Go ahead.
All right. So we have a special guest tonight. We have two special guests. We have Gia Davis and Art Davis. We're gonna welcome them on to the show right now. Are you guys ready to roll? She ready? Let's see how this goes. There's Gia. And there's Art. Can you believe they used to be married?
Good to see you guys.
Welcome to the show.
I know, Art. I know.
Here we go.
Well, I don't want to say here we go, but I do want to say something like this. Gia and I have been friends for a long time, and when I learned of you, Art, I was so happy for her. And then we kind of went through this thing in a parallel way. She got married first, then I got married, and then we weren't. So there's a lot of parallel that happened. But one of the questions that I really wanted to go over, because Warren and I could probably answer these questions too for ourselves, but is it possible to learn from being married? Is it possible? Do you walk away pointing fingers, or do you learn something? Is it like that was my practice marriage? I'm throwing a lot out there, but did you learn something from being married? I just want to know. Did you learn something?
Can I say something real quick?
I knew it. See, I still know you.
Hold on, because we didn't introduce ourselves. We didn't say, "Well, I haven't seen these people in years," and here we are. We'll just act like it's
Hi,
like
Warren.
we're gonna just
What's going
act like
on,
we talk.
Warren?
Oh, what's up, Art? What's up, Gia?
Long time no hear, buddy.
I'm saying. I mean, my goodness, you can't take a little time to say hello.
I'm sorry, Warren. When I was introducing them, but yes, these are our longtime friends, Gia and Art Davis. Ironically, Gia or Art had my maiden name, and Gia took on. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
yep. It's good to see you guys. You guys look good, actually.
Great, really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Divorce? Does the skin glow suddenly when you divorce, or what is it? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm still powdering.
Ability. Less stress always kind of helps you when you're in stressful situations. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, so what did you guys learn? Did you learn from being married? Are you carrying baggage into new relationships? I mean, what's been up? What?
All right, I'm gonna let you go first.
Why me? But okay, I pretty much know why. But it takes a point to get to that. It's a process, right? So it isn't, you get out of a marriage and then you jump into a relationship and you just happy-go-lucky, everything is fine, and you just make your next soulmate. No, it doesn't work that way. So number one, it's a process to actually get there. And in the beginning, like everyone, yeah, you have red flags that you may have seen in your previous relationship, and Gia and our situation in my marriage, that it may seem as baggage, but is red flags of what you have been through. So your main question was, did I learn something?
What did you learn?
Oh, hell yeah, I learned a lot. Yeah, I don't know, man. Why you put me on the spot first? I mean, we're not biggest thing.
I guess I'll answer the question then. Would that be better for you, Art? Oh, his camera froze.
He was answering it. I thought he was doing it.
No, the camera froze.
I just want to welcome everybody to watch Divorced and Dating Others. Remember, Gia, you guys are divorced. You can't, he's his own man now. So Yeah. You know,
Well,
he was
are we going into stories? Because that was one boy. Don't give me. No, I'm joking.
No,
I'm joking.
I
I'm
mean,
joking.
you said you learn. I mean, I think we both learn things. I don't think that anybody stays married to somebody as long as we were married for 12 years. So I don't think that you marry a person and stay with them that long and then not learn anything when you move on. Hopefully, the reason you moved on is because you learn. Um, there are things that you might realize about yourself that changed from the time you got married. When Art and I first got married, we weren't even 30 years old yet. I'm actually 4 years older than him. So the things that I wanted in my 20s were not necessarily the things that I wanted in my 40s. So, when you get to a certain point, you realize we're doing each other more harm than good. You got to learn when to hold them and when to fold them. So,
so you were a
That
cougar.
Oh my
no, I
goodness.
wasn't a cougar. I was 4 years older than him, which basically means that we were born in the same decade.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
think a
what's
that
up.
cougar
the
goes
decade
beyond
don't
that.
got the decade don't got nothing to do with it. I had game. That's what I mean. That's what got you. I mean, let's cut the bullet. BS. I mean, yeah, you 4 years older than me. How did I pull someone 4 years older than me? Met her,
It
fell in
wasn't
love,
that
and got
hard, Art.
married
It
in
wasn't.
6 months.
It wasn't like you were
It was
18 year
hard.
old going after a 22-year-old. We were not
It
that. I
don't.
mean, we were both
It
in our
don't
20s.
matter.
Okay.
Your head
Well,
was in a different space. Didn't you say that?
let me jump in just a little bit as I this feels very familiar
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
Um,
love
should.
it. I love it. Keep it up.
but I want to say that
Whoa, whoa,
okay.
whoa, 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 time out, LaDonna. It's
We
only familiar to you because you only talk to her.
oh, no, that's not true, Art, because I was on the phone with you. Yes, yes, I was on the phone with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You would confide in her too when we were going through our period when we were contemplating divorce. So yeah.
yes.
That's contemplating divorce. I'm talking about even
Okay.
post divorce, even that.
Well,
But go ahead, LaDonna. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to say that, what the point of this show is to arrive at the healthy point where you've divorced and now you're at a healthy spot. Now, the fact that you had game, Art, I
Okay.
have I have to agree with that. Gia told me that she had game. Yes, she did in so many words. I'm sorry, Gia. I put you out there. But what happened was how you got her was very strong because Gia is very much so attracted to men that can hold their own. And Art, you
Very
displayed
much so.
right, you displayed that when you guys met, and I remember this because this was confided, was not confided, this was conversed with me. So as you guys progressed through your marriage, children were born, beautiful children were born. And I don't want to breeze over the fact that Art Davis became best friends with Gia's first baby's daddy. You guys became like bestie. You guys look confused. Did I miss something? Because I was there.
well, I don't. I mean,
Oh, no, you
I
ain't
think that.
missed nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they were really close friends. I mean, I think that just came from me having game. No, let me stop. I I think that what happens, hey, it is what it is. Okay, most people pull that off. But I think what it is when you get to a place where you say it's healthier for everybody to get along than it is for everybody to be at each other's throats. Because my oldest son's father in the beginning, he wasn't accepting of Art. We had some really tough times in the first year. It was restraining orders, court cases, all that type of stuff against each other. It just literally, after a point, you realize if we can all get on one accord, this one child who needs us all to be there for him can have a much better quality of life than if we're constantly bickering with each other. And so we just matured and did what we had to do. Now, their friendship, I think it blossomed because they had a mutual and common love for one person that they wanted to see her at her best, and that was me. And not to say it in a kind of, jazzy way or anything like that, but they both cared about me. And they knew that for me to see them get along made my life easier than it did to have them at each other's throats.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
That was so
That's a good thing. You got to tell somebody about that, because honestly, that's a very difficult. I believe that's a very difficult or challenging thing to do. And so then you guys have got a lot of knowledge that you can pass on to people on this channel or any other.
Yeah. And you know something, Warren, going back to even our situation, I remember when, like, I had 2 existing children before I met you, and I wanted you to meet my son's father, and it just wasn't your thing. You said, "Nah, I'm not ready for that." And I never understood why that was, because I felt like you should at least meet the man, because that was my son's father. And it wasn't we didn't have the same result. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember that?
Okay, so how it was presented to me, well, you had nothing besides negativity that I heard about him. I didn't hear anything but negativity. So I probably wasn't. I mean, I can't go back to the whole thing, but I remember what I do remember is nothing besides negativity. So I don't know if that's how you presented. I don't know if Art, if that was how we were presented with your Gia's ex, but I know how I was presented. And I was like, man, I see clear of that. You know, I didn't want
I mean, he was most definitely, not to cut you off, Art, but he was most definitely presented with negativity, because you got to think these 2 men were, you know, we had restraining orders and assault charges and DCFS in our lives because it was so much drama in the beginning. But I think like how it all came down where they were able to get beyond that was they literally, I don't know if you even remember this, Art, we were flipping houses at the time, and Art had a load of wood for flooring on his truck, and he was unloading it into the garage. And my oldest son's father pulled up to drop my son off, and he asked Art, "Hey man, do you need some help?" And Art was like, "Yeah, sure." And they started unloading the wood, and as they started unloading the wood, they began to talk. And when you begin to talk and it's in a non-confrontational environment, you know, and then of course they, you know, came in the house, got them a beer, went out, and they just sat and talked for hours. And they realized, like, we sitting here at each other's throat for what?
Right.
Because we both love the same person? No, that's not what you do. You know, you don't make her life harder, you make her life easier. And then they just grew up.
Yeah.
It was a natural kind of thing where they had actually, it was I like that you know, carrying wood or helping one another, doing something else totally different, and transferred over to something bigger, which was helping the family grow. I like how it started off, you know, because if it started off with just let's just say me, it was starting off, let's go ahead and let's be friends. But I believe it's a total different thing when you say let's start off by let's doing this together and work our way up to something that's that big. I don't know. Like I said, you guys have a lot of stuff that you can pass down. Because even right now, I'm just thinking about it. I think that's a big thing. I don't know. I think that's very, very big.
Now, I will say this. I can't say that we learned that lesson very well when it came to our divorce, because when we moved on to the first set of people that we dated post-divorce, we were not as accepting of each other's mates.
Which brings me to our next question, actually. After asking, what did you learn from being married to Art or married to Gia? And I didn't get a clean cut message or answer with that. We'll circle back. But I wanted to know what do you owe? Well, no, actually, were you able to? Did I not put that question in my list? Okay, I know what the question is.
Go ahead. Spontaneous good. Spontaneous good.
What position should you take when your ex moves on and exposes your children to the new thing, to the new person? What role should you take when it comes to your ex exposing to the to the next person?
Art, would you like to go first, or would you like for me to go first?
Go ahead, Gia. Go ahead. I will. Yeah, go ahead. I rather follow behind you, because here's the thing. It depends on who the ex or who the new person is. That is a vital question. when it comes to G and I situation alone. You and Warren, other couples out there, their situation may be different and their standpoint may be different when it comes to this question, because G and I went through something where the ex was,
The next.
oh, he never left. Since we're rhyming, he never left. Uh, he never got, he was never out of the picture, not one day throughout our whole marriage, not one day. The sad part about it is I just didn't know about it, because it was ironic that, again, the way, again, that it depends on, the question should really be dependent on who the ex is. If the new person, if the new person is someone that you just met off the street, met in Walmart, even Facebook online dating, okay, that's different. But when it comes to someone in your past that you know about, and y'all don't even like each other anyway, now that's where the emotions and the feelings and all the hatred and the madness comes into play, because again, G and I situation is unique. Most people go out and they go meet somebody in Walmart and boom, now y'all dating or whatever the case may be. That wasn't our situation. So again, the question is really depending on who the new person is. A new person, absolutely. I'm sure the answer would be the same with both me and Gia. But you know, when there's emotion and feelings involved, it turns to a whole different broadcast.
Okay.
Wow. And I think it's, you know, just to attest to that, because I kind of caught wind of that recently, where the ex never left, and you can't compete with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, here we are building this life, and the ex is still
was always there.
the background,
Was always there. Yep.
and then waiting for the opportunity to kind of slide in.
That's messed up.
Oh, and did he? Whoa. Yes.
Wow. I'm gonna disagree with that.
Of course.
Of course you are. Right.
well, let me say this. Let me say this. It's not what you think, is what's factual. And so you can think
Perception
that somebody was present the whole time, but they weren't, you know. But I know my truth, so I'm not worried about it. But in all actuality, people can only slide in where there's room to slide into. You cannot slide into a full space. So if your spouse is doing what they're supposed to do, there's no margin or no room for somebody to kind of guide their way in. They stuck on outside because there's no space in the relationship. Now, what I will say is this. Yes, it is harder to accept a person that your ex is dating post marriage if you feel like they were a contributing cause to the demise of the marriage. I think Art would agree with me wholeheartedly when I say the next people that we dated post marriage, we both felt that same way about. So it's hard for someone to accept someone that you felt like was a part of your marriage, whether you wanted them there or not. So that's not the easiest thing to do. But what I found more than anything is, if my ex can be happy, I don't care who they with, because I'm happy. So if I'm happy, I want you to be happy. I don't have to spend my time or my energy worried about who you're with if I've truly moved on. The only time people have a problem with who you with post-marriage is when they really are not over you themselves. So, yeah, I know you're looking a little perplexed, Warren, but it holds a lot of truth. Because if I let this go and I said, okay, I no longer want to be in a relationship with him. I've gone through the procedures of getting a divorce. And as you guys know, because you've gotten a divorce, it's not like you wake up on Monday and say, I want a divorce, and Friday you divorce. It's a lengthy process. It's heart-wrenching. It can be evil at times. It doesn't always have to be a pretty thing and ours was not a pretty thing. So because of that, if I went through all of that, why do I care who you're with? The only time I care who you're with is if it's impactful to the lives of my children. Then I have a say so in that. But just because that's who you want to lay with, hey, good luck to you on that. I don't care about that at all. So to me, it wouldn't have mattered. And I think that in all actuality, and I'm not trying to bring in dirty laundry or anything like that, but I'm trying to be like Warren. I'm healed, I'm whole, I'm happy. I have gone through therapy, I'm good. So
you be like you were healed and you look great. You're a healed woman.
Thank you. So I feel like this. I don't have to, if you found somebody during the course of our marriage and you felt like that was where you wanted to be at, hey, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? I can only fight for a person who's in the fight. If you're not in the fight anymore, then it's like, okay, well, I wish you the best of luck in this. Now, if I see that person has toxic behaviors, and that they're doing more to pull you down than to bring you up. Because I used to have a motto, and Art had heard it throughout the course. If you cheat on me, you better cheat up. Because when I leave, you're going to wish she was on the upswing of things and not the downstroke of others. So because of that, I felt like, hey, if this is who you choose to be with, that's who you choose to be with. I just am concerned more so about the interaction with my children than I am about you and her interactions. Y'all go do y'all. I don't care what you do. Because you was doing you while we was married anyway. So, wow. But I feel like that's when it gets touchy, when people can't accept who their spouse has moved on to. If the spouse is not totally over the divorce.
Closure. Well, we've got some comments from the audience. Wait. Okay, let me just read this real quick. She says, I understand communication and connection. That was one thing. But she also said, I was married for 25 years before his death. At one point, he was working so much, he definitely wasn't available. And then we got Daniel. Daniel says, am new here. Well, welcome. And then we've got Daniel P's Golden. Good smiling. Okay. All right. And then we got SmackDown says, what the hell? Hey, I'm telling you, it's real, right? SmackDown came back. Is this live? Yes, it is, as you probably figured out by now. And then he says, why wasn't I included? Who the hell is SmackDown? Okay, my bad. Okay, right, here we go. All right. Got WKCJ Gospel Radio Station says, good evening. And then Lindoria's story says, I think it's important to discuss with your ex or child's parent before you introduce your child or children. Which that okay.
That right there. Because I feel like before you take my children and introduce them to somebody, you should have a conversation with the other parent first. The kid shouldn't come home and say, oh, I met daddy's new girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. Because now you put me in a position to answer questions that they don't want to ask you, but want to ask me about this new person that you're with. And a lot of times it's kind of like, okay, well, why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes no sense, especially because when we get divorced, it's not just us that gets divorced. The kids are affected by the divorce as well. So kids don't understand adult decisions. They don't understand the dynamics of what truly caused the divorce. All they know is that the aspects of their life that they were used to have now changed.
I agree, Jib. Art had his hand up. I want to go ahead and give Art the time to respond. Art, go ahead. What do you have to say? I know you. I want to make sure you.
Can y'all hear me? Because it went off my car speaker because my son just called, or our son just called. So, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So there was a comment made, and clearly this is not the platform where G and I air our dirty laundry.
There you go.
I mean, G and I are in a good place in terms of co-parenting, in terms of able to be around each other, things of that nature. So this is not it. But
there you go.
You said something. And you said when people allow them in your life, I never had a fighting chance. I never had 100% of your heart because your heart always belonged to somebody else. Because that person was there from the beginning,
Okay,
they're in the
hold on.
middle, and they're after us.
The thought,
That I
LaDonna's
allow,
face
or
is
I
saying
gave the
what I'm thinking.
opportunity
This
to
is
allow someone to
divorce
come into your
and
life.
dating
I
others.
never had that.
This,
I never was the number one guy.
this
was
is
never
get a
divorce.
commercial break right
This
quick.
is divorce
I,
and dating
I
others.
remember
That's
me.
what the title of the show is. Divorce and
it is.
dating others, not
I don't want
rehashes
you to
of the
think.
past.
No. This is not like I'm not mad about it. Actually, at this point in my life, I wish her the best with whoever she's with. Honestly, I just want to see Gia happy. I promise you, I do.
There you go.
But
So
that
brings me to
again,
my
it
next
changes
question,
the
Art.
dynamic.
Yes, you're right. This brings me to my next question. How do you get to a happy place where it's all about the children after the relationship?
You got to stop hating the person that you with. You got to stop, because this is the thing.
Time.
It's not even time, because you can still, a cancer continues to fester with time. Cancer does not heal itself. You have to have an action that heals what's hurting. So you have to make a conscious decision that I'm going to get over whatever it was with this person that caused our divorce. It's done. It's over with. We're not together. We're going to move on from that point, because now the things like, and I'm not trying to negate what you said, Art, but things like that don't matter anymore.
But you did negate what he said, because he said time and you said it's not. That was his version. So I just want to.
This is the thing. Art, can you say that time healed you, or can you say that events that took place in your life orchestrated the forum for your healing? Yeah. Because literally it wasn't time. Mind you, even though we have not been married, I have been a support system for you. Have I not?
Yes.
Okay. So when I say that, meaning that I never wanted to see Art lose. And in any situation that Art has gone through, when people thought I was crazy for stepping in and trying to help on certain things, it was because I didn't want to see him lose. And the reason I didn't want to see him lose is because I didn't want my children to see him lose. A lot of people would be okay with the other parent going through something bad because it makes them look like the good parent and the other parent look like the bad parent. I was never trying to create that actual atmosphere for my kids. I wanted them to see their dad and be like, wow, I got an awesome dad. Just like I want them to see their mom and say, wow, I got an awesome mom. So it was never but even with Art, you can't put, like he said, well, time. Things happen during time. It's just not like time goes past and nothing has changed. Things change in your life, and you begin to have things that come about that make you say, you know what? I can start healing. I'm going to have a therapist, I'm going to see a therapist. I'm going to talk to somebody about it. I'm going to meet somebody and try to move on with my life. All of these are events that equate to healing, not just time. It's what you do with the time that heals you, not just having time.
That's absolutely fine. I'm about to throw a man thing out there to Warren. Don't you love it how women ask you a question and then answer it for you? Like, I never got a chance to answer what you really asked.
I was about to say that same thing. I swear.
I mean, I love it.
That same thing.
I mean, the women love to do that. They ask you a question and then answer it for you. It's like,
hey, you didn't answer it right. You didn't answer it quick enough. You didn't answer it right. Art.
I was trying to help you out.
Well, see.
So, here's the answer.
We've talked about this, Gia. Did he ask for help? So we've got this. Gia and I are helpers. Like, we want to jump in and help you be better. But if you don't come to us and say, I want you to help me be better, then are we overstepping? But the question was, how do you get to this point in raising and co-parenting together in a positive light? So we've aired out enough dirty laundry. I've run out of Tide Pods with bleach, and now it is time to focus on the children. And it's like, your kids are teenagers now. Like, our kids are teenagers now, and they know stuff. They are able to see stuff. Have they seen a healthy marriage? My kids, all they saw was us bickering, because when they were babies and we were still like lovey-dovey, they don't remember.
They don't remember that.
But they do remember us.
The argument.
They remember the argument. So they're like, man, fuck this. I'm not getting married. So now we want them to see a healthy relationship. And I actually sent pictures purposely to my children of us when we were happy because I want them to have them. I deleted them. But I sent them to them before I deleted them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to see that they were born from love. I wanted them to see that. Otherwise, they'll feel like I did. Well, hell, if you're talking about my mama and you talking about my daddy, then what am I? You know what I'm saying? So they need to see that healthy side of things. So, Art, you were started off before Gia interrupted you by saying, that's my girl, but I'm all
you can throw under the bus though. But
I'm saying,
go ahead,
well,
Go ahead.
She still loves
I just got hit by a tire, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, you said time. Is there more than time? I hope it is, brother, because she really just railroaded you.
Oh wow.
Well, it is. It is more. It's more than time. But to be honest with you, for me, because everybody is different and everybody react to situations differently, right? So I cannot have the same emotions that you, G, or Warren have because I'm Art. So for me, it was literally just being away from Gia, just not seeing her, not talking to her, literally getting her out of my system and not necessarily transferring my energy to another person. Because essentially, I tell on myself, I mean, at the end of our marriage, I did find someone and I did try to channel the energy, but I found that didn't work. But just being away from Gia and just not talking to her, not thinking about her, not doing none of that, that's actually what healed me. Damn the situations, because Gia, we had more situations post divorce that could have put you right back in a I hate you pot. But it didn't. It was just literally just being away from you, just not seeing you, not thinking about you.
Warren knows about that. Moved all the way across the country. But go on, Art.
I did. Yeah, I would have.
Oh,
I did.
Hold up. Hey. What up?
Please.
Hey, your facial expression is priceless right now.
Right. He looked like, is that my kid?
Yeah, it is.
He's like, my kid got no shirt on. Just
so.
It just went a little bit too. It went a little bit too real, though. It's my kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go back to you moving to California. I mean,
hold on.
Wisconsin.
Hold on. Don't worry about where I moved. Okay, I want to make a point, and it has nothing to do with
away from me. As soon as those papers were dropped,
let me finish.
Okay, you know what, Donna? I'm glad you mentioned that. Because what's up with the moving thing? Because Art tried to move to Wisconsin.
I gotta go.
I had to move to be away from a man.
Away from you.
Can I?
No, I couldn't.
Can I?
Everybody harvests their emotions differently, so I understand for Warren, like, yeah, I gotta go. Like, I can't even be in this environment. Everything reminds you of your significant other or your ex. The smell. I don't know how many women I ran into that had on that exact same, what was it, very sexy or whatever it was, that had on that. The cars that drove by, the music that played, everything everything reminds you of it. And for some men, that's how we escape. We just gotta be by ourselves.
Hey, Art, can I just say something? I just want 2 minutes, okay? I'll let you guys go back in it. First and foremost, let me say this. I'm gonna be honest. Right now, I think that was a rash move that I probably shouldn't have done. And I am living with it, and I'm trying to make the best of a decision I made a while ago. I did some stuff rationally, unwise. The wisdom is to go forward and try to move forward the best I can, but I can't redo it. I did it. It's done. Also, it got a little real because my sons are there. They're probably seeing me. I was just in town not too long ago, and I saw them. And honestly, they're my number one concern. And I was trying to be personal. My fault. I'm being selfish, I should say. And I'll just leave it at that. And yeah, I deserve that. But longer story short is is really okay. So time away, that did help, but I think the most thing that helped, and if I could be completely honest, it was the not having access to see. Okay, so I was denied access, period. And I wouldn't say I was denied access.
Wait, you
I
were
was
denied access to what?
Well, hold on, let him
access
finish.
conversation, access everything. So I had to calm my nerves, or I had to basically act
But
right in order
why
to
were you
have
doing
any
that?
type of.
'Cause I'm not that type of mother. There was a reason.
Hold on, let me finish because I probably wasn't clear. Let me go ahead and be very clear.
Okay.
I was denied access to having any type of conversation because every time I was talking to LaDonna, I was hollering at her. So therefore, she kind of cut off all communication with me. So I wasn't able to do a whole lot of things, and therefore I had to, I'm a stick and a carrot kind of person or whatever. So I got access, and I just went ahead, and I have a bad memory, so I just forgot about a lot of stuff. That's why I don't want to relive stuff, rehash stuff, because you can get that stuff in your head, and time does heal one thing. It if you let it, you can forget about a lot of garbage, and that's what I did, and that's what how time kind of helps out. Actually, I got counseling as well. I got a lot of counseling too, but I think between counseling and time, that's how it happened. But I'm gonna tell you this: my son was in the picture, and of course, you said I saw my expression because honestly, this show is not really meant to cause any type of hurt with my kids. I hope and pray that it doesn't.
No,
So if
that
they saw
wasn't it.
something,
No, they were fighting.
okay, good. I was hoping that they wasn't seeing my show or
muted.
whatever.
I had to keep the show going, so I muted my mic, covered my mouth, and called them in here and had a conversation.
Okay, well then that's okay. But I was just making sure that our conversation wasn't causing no kind of anything with them, because they're the most important things to me. I could care less about even this show at all. I'm mature and I did some rash stuff, but I think we got to go ahead and make sure the rest the rest of my life is the best of my life. I think that's what you just said. I think LaDonna said, well, everybody say it probably now.
Well, no, but what is? I just want everybody to know you're watching Divorced and Dating Others. I'm your host, LaDonna Raeh, and Warren we host this show each and every Friday. We used to be married, and now we're co-parenting in a happy place. I think it's still a happy place because we're able to talk about these things and kind of circle back. But Art and Gia Davis have joined us. They used to be married as well, and they're talking about we're trying to get to the part where they talk about being in their happy place, because I can actually be a witness and see that Art comes out to support Gia. Gia supports Art even after the fact, and their children are I can assume this, right? I think they're in a much better place, guys. Is it safe to say that? Yeah, okay. Because
we each have our relationships with them. We each have our own individual relationships, which that's the cool part about it.
Yeah. I've witnessed this, and I'm so proud of you. I want to say that I'm so proud of you guys because you've come a long way from restraining orders, DC. You mentioned it, okay? So I'm just repeating it. DCFS, cars, trees falling on cars. Didn't somebody get hurt anyway? So
yeah.
But
I didn't get hurt. That's a damn show. But no, nobody didn't get hurt.
Well, I was probably speaking of our situation, Warren. There was blood everywhere, but it doesn't matter. The point is,
it was.
I think it was a candlestick holder or something like that. I forgot. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys bring it up. See, that's what I told you. I didn't want to bring up the old stuff. It's in the past. Hey, that time heals, right?
It does. That's your head.
Good thing.
Good thing. We found out you had high blood pressure. Had you not, I'm just saying, at least we found out that you needed to lower your blood pressure. All right, Gia, what were you saying? Sorry.
I needed to lower my blood pressure.
Because I keep going back to this because
go through it.
I know you said, okay, the title of the show is Divorced and Dating Others. I think the biggest thing that we take as a takeaway is when the person, okay, I've had my chance to love you. You've had your chance to love me. Now we're moving on from that. We still have residual love for each other because we have 2 children that we created together. But now it's our turn to have others love us. And how do you respond to your ex now finding love with someone else? And sometimes I think what adds to that is did they level up when they left you? Or was it like, because does that make you feel a certain kind of way as well? Like, man, they did better without me than they did with me. Because I think that can lead to a level of animosity that can cause conflict and confusion when you are not, when you're not just like, okay, being transparent. I love Art, have much love for him, even though it was times when I had inquired about a hitman taking him out. But today I can say,
What?
today I can say, I love him. I love him. I got love for him. Because, hey, it was rough. It was rough at times. It was rough at times. But
okay, go ahead.
Wait. You know I'm joking. But
The figure of speech are calm down. Okay.
No, well, I'm getting to a point. I'm getting to a point.
Please
Sometimes it's easier to see your ex move on when they've hurt, when you've been hurt by them and they hurt by you, and you see them struggle in some way, shape, or form. It was a period of time when we first like finalized the first year that the divorce was finalized in a home that we were living in, and I had to move in with my parents. I'm quite sure that gave Art some type of ha, you know, because he was hurt by me. So it made him feel better to see me in a form of what he might have considered struggle. Not knowing I was really doing some strategic planning, but nevertheless, you know, because sometimes when a person hurt people. And so when they see you with a relationship that's not working out well, they be like, see, you left, you know, sugar and went to shit. You know what I'm saying? So it can aid in that, because I'm not going to lie. Art's first relationship post-divorce gave me a lot of joy, the hell that he was going through sometimes. Not to say I didn't love him, but it made me feel like that's what you get. And I'm being transparent. Did you want me to come on here live? Did you want me to come on here and tell the truth?
No, so again, you're watching Divorced and Dating.
But let me say this. But at that time, it was a lot of healing that I still needed to do. And remember how I said, when you are truly over a person, you don't care what goes on in their relationships. You don't care what I was surface over it, but underneath it, it was a lot of healing that I still had yet to do.
Yeah.
No, men think like that too. So, and I'm responding to SmackDown. Yeah.
187. That's right there.
Yeah. And I believe I know who SmackDown 187 is. But the thing is,
how you doing thumbs up on this thing? Where the thumbs up button at?
Right under you, man.
Let me say this. Let me say this. It is easier to move on from a person when they are going through struggles than it is to see them. If I would have seen him in a happy, healthy, and productive relationship straight out of our divorce, I would have been pissed, because I would have felt like he went and got happy, and I'm over here feeling miserable. It's just, it is what it is. Misery loves company. So the company for me and my misery right after post-divorce was to see him not be happy with who I thought he chose to be with.
Let me ask this, guys.
I honestly pray that an awesome woman comes into his life.
Who here got counseling after they got divorced?
Who got what?
Who got counseling?
Post-divorce?
Divorce?
You get counseling? Like you went to a counselor?
I didn't go to like a psychologist or anything, but I went to people of religion that I could rely on that would tell me the truth and not necessarily what I wanted to hear. So it was a form of counseling, but no, I didn't pay nobody to go do that. No.
Yeah.
I went to YouTube.
Well, I had I had actually gone to a counselor. That thank God that I'm a veteran and I was able to get a counselor. And honestly, a lot of things were laid to rest there. And honestly, what you're talking about, Gia, which is, trust me, I'm not nobody to judge nobody. What you did was what you did. And I've done some things, like I said, I moved out here and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not at all proud of it. But, counseling is something that if somebody's watching this or whatever, and they're thinking about that, I think it's very important to go to counseling, go to somewhere where they're not putting things in your head, but they're also letting you lay it down right. Put it into perspective.
Did you want to see me fail? Did you want to see me, Warren, at all?
Huh? Say what?
Did you want to see me fail at all, or?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I honestly don't want to go back to whatever mindset I was. I couldn't remember, but I know right now I want to see you succeed, and I'm very much so happy about all the situation you're in. But if I go back, my memory was never good in the first place. But when I put stuff in the background, when I sit up and I burn those memories, it really is. It's burn up. I can't remember them all. I couldn't tell you what I want. I know when I was on the phone with you several times, I remember like blanking out and just blah, and I don't remember. I was in a bad space when I was on the phone. I remember a couple times. I mean, not like I can remember right now. I was just like, just hitting all the buttons. I was probably trying to hurt you. I'm sure. I don't know, but I can't remember honestly, because that was in my past, and I've had counseling since then. And I'm for the most part, I'm okay with whatever you do. And I think that I'm happy. I was happy when I visited. I came there last month. I was there and I was happy with what you were moving on and doing successful. I was happy that you were doing this, that, and the other. I was like, yeah, okay, good. Because the bigger thing to me anyway, the meaning thing was that you were being a really good mom. And if I had thought that you were a terrible mom, then of course I would have thought about some things where I could help you be a better mom. But I wasn't thinking like,
you can help me be a better mom. You can help me be a better mom.
Well, I think that the human characteristic when you first exit a divorce, even a long-term relationship, I think that it's only natural and human that you want to see that person suffer. Like that song say, she was like, if you wonder if I hate you, I do. What I would do to make you feel like this. That's a human.
That's not healthy though.
No,
that's all I'm saying. Thank you, Art.
I'm not saying that it's healthy. I'm saying that it's human. Like you gotta pee. Right. Is what humans do. Is because you have invested so much into the relationship or that person, and for it to crumble, you're hurt. So I agree with Gia when she say, yeah, hurt people. In terms of the house, no, because it affected my kids. Yeah. But I can say this. The one thing that I definitely knew while in the process of divorcing Gia has a very, very, very strong support system. Her support system is a lot stronger than mine. So I knew for a fact that she was gonna be okay. Gia's a daddy's girl, so daddy was definitely gonna be there to pick up the pieces. Anything that I wasn't doing, he did pick up and do, which comforted her through the process. So,
what if you don't have daddy? What if you don't have daddy to pick up the pieces? Like, does anybody?
I didn't.
I didn't have daddy to pick up the pieces. My dad is alive and well, yes, but he just wasn't that type of daddy. You know what I'm saying? So do you believe that I'm hurting or suffering when I'm truly on the ground bleeding? Is that what it takes? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, let me say this. I think that what Art felt. Okay, so I have a very strong faith-based mindset. And I feel like I can overcome anything as long as God is in approval of what I'm trying to overcome. And so even though you might go through seasons of discouragement, it's only so much far down you're going to be able to push me because God's not going to let me be stomped all the way through the floor. So when Thanks, Warren. So when it comes to that, you know, everybody doesn't have the same support system. So even when I had to go back home and I was living in one of the bedrooms of my parents' house with all, you know, all of my kids, along with my oldest kid, along with my grandkids, it was like such a terrible feeling. God was like, it's a setup for your takeoff. And I had to just keep that in my mind, like, this season in your life is about to prepare you for the next and best seasons of your life. And so even when I had anger with Art because, you know, I felt like part of what was going on was because he was basing it upon the person I was dating at the time. And not necessarily, okay, he agreed. And not necessarily the wise things to do. And so, but it worked out because I got uncomfortable for a little while so I could be comfortable for a lifetime.
Oh,
and so what I figured out in that season, even though it was a setup for my send off into wherever he was trying to send me off to, it sent me to a whole nother place and a whole nother trajectory. I went back to a house that I renovated from top to bottom. And I remember the look on Art's face the first time he walked in that house after I had completed that renovation. And it was like, man, this don't even look like the same house. And I was like, yeah. And my mortgage payment was less than most people's rent. You know what I'm saying? It was just like everything just worked out for my good. And then it allowed me to pour into my businesses because I wasn't burdened with all of the financial strain from the house that he and I had shared previously. So now you look up, I know if you can see my background or not, but a sister leveled up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like literally, and I did that as a single Black woman raising 2 kids without a man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I don't need men, but it put me in a learning place where I figured out how much strength I had in me because I had someone who thought they were taking my strength away.
Whoa. No.
But it's okay.
I wasn't taking your strength away because in the reality of things, you probably had, when it comes to the legal side of stuff, you probably had the easiest divorce than any woman in 35 countries. The reason is I gave up everything. I didn't fight you on nothing. I didn't fight you on the property that you're talking about. You and I had discussed about the house that we was in. It was overpriced anyway, so it wasn't no sense to pay that ridiculous mortgage for just y'all three. I didn't. So you see, here's the thing that mattered the most to me. Yes, you hit it on the head, Jill. It was absolutely about the person that you was with and was with after we had, you know, went our separate ways. However, I still made sure in the interim of things that you were straight. I didn't fight you on anything with the kids in terms of you. The only thing I was saying was you're not about to have sole custody, which we agreed upon that. So we have joint custody of our kids. You have residential. But other than that, it was a smooth transition, though it was hurtful. It was a smooth transition into your background right now.
All right, I had to trick you to come to divorce court. What are you talking about?
You didn't trick me.
What are you talking about?
You didn't trick me.
Like, yeah, we're gonna be real on this show now.
Hold on.
We could be real on this show. And you sure as hell didn't trick me. You told me the time I was there 15 minutes early.
All right, I told.
All right, we're gonna go to a little bit of a break. They have been moved to the lobby. I just want to reset the room and let everybody know that this is Divorced and Dating Others. I'm LaDonna Raeh, and who are you, Mr. Man?
Okay, listen.
Oh, you gotta say your name.
Warren I.
Warren I. Okay, Warren I. And we're on Divorced and Dating Others, and we're actually trying to talk about, you know, the move on point. This is pretty comical because we know this couple, but
yeah, we know very well. We know the whole thing. Trust me.
If you want to be on the show, please. If you want to be on the show with your ex-husband, ex-mate, ex-baby's daddy, well, they're still the babies. You understand what I mean? The ex situationship. Please let us know. Inbox us, comment, get in touch with us. You can email us at LaDonnaRaehShow@gmail.com. I just want to say that so that you guys can come on to the show and we can have open dialogue, and we'll slide in and try to redirect the conversation. We just know these two, and we're gonna get back. Hey, welcome back, Art and Gia.
We back. After we get put on timeout, we back. All right, she put us on timeout, then gonna have us come back.
What's going on? Listen.
See, Gia ain't even back now.
Gia back?
She's there.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
yeah. But let me say this though. We have come so far.
Okay.
We do things together with our kids. I heard you say, Warren, last week when you guys were talking about the vacation and stuff. We take our kids to dinner together. We have gone on outings with our kids. We do stuff with our kids, and we do it with so that our kids can have some normal of the core of the mom and dad together. We have gotten to a place where we try not to interfere with the disciplining, which was hard for us, the disciplining of our children when it comes to, like, if we had an incident happen the other night where our teenage daughter got hot water. Yeah, so and she did some things, and he called me up and he said, "Look, Gia, I'm on my way to your house right now to get with her." I said, I'll open the door for you when you arrive, because I'm not going to interfere with you disciplining your child if she's disrespectful to you. So we've gotten to those places now. We couldn't have said all of that maybe 2-3 years ago. It probably would have been a totally different, type of conversation. Him and her would have got into it, and then me and him would have gotten into it. But now we're just at a point where we realize it's better to be, on one accord. It works so much. It goes so much farther, especially when it comes to your kids, because when kids know that they can divide their two parents, they conquer you. Because if they can get the parents to agree to argue with each other, now the child has just gotten away with murder, because nobody's addressing the situation with the child. They're trying to address what's going on with that other parent. And so now we've gotten to a point where it's just respect. It's respect. I just had my grand opening for my restaurant last week. Art was there. He's like, "Hey, I'm coming. I'm going to support you." So we on a whole nother page. Whole nother page. Now, don't get me wrong. You know that if on my bad days, Kim Yada can come out, but overall, Gia is present.
Art did complain about the service that I was given at the restaurant, though. So
I did. Yeah. You need to hire another cashier.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But no, I took the picture. Art was there with the kids taking pictures at the restaurant, coming to support, making sure the children were there to support, and making sure that they were there in support of their mom. I just really love the camaraderie that you guys have built, especially knowing once you came. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean,
Gia and I have our days. Gia and I have our days. There's days. Gia know that my number one pet peeve is to be hung up on. I promise you. You hang up on me, I'm liable to show up at your door. But she'll do it. But the thing about Gia, what she has learned over the years, because I promise you it was not there, prior to us getting divorced. Gia had a very hard time somewhat saying, what did he say? Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's not, bro. Not at all. Whoever may know, she not. No, I'm joking. But Gia has apologized. She has learned the I don't want to say the art, but the looking into myself. So we had an incident at my daughter's Sweet 16 party.
Okay. See, God paused it because he knew he was about to go somewhere when he had to go.
Art, you're in the Matrix, just so you know. You're in the Matrix. So Gia's gonna continue the story, I think, because you're in the Matrix right now.
No, this was the thing. So we had a disagreement at my daughter's sweet 16 party. But this
the
is the one
ending
thing.
but the ending of the story is that Gia apologized.
Exactly. So if you ask me anything that I learned from art, I learned how to become more apologetic. I learned how to be more responsible for my words. I learned how to art taught me patience.
Oh wow.
He taught me patience.
To
And
admit
the
that is
reason
big.
why I say that, he taught me that whether he wanted to teach me that or not. Because what I learned in everything is that you can't always get your way. You can't always get your way. And me, I'm very spoiled. I've been spoiled all my life. So I've been spoiled by my parents. I was spoiled by art in our marriage. I will give this man kudos. The beginning of our marriage was like a dream, you know. So anybody that knows us knows all of that. But I was so right in my own mind a lot of times that it was hard for me to learn what he was asking me for in the marriage and that was, it contributed to the demise of the marriage. I will take accountability for what I did. It wasn't just about other people coming into our lives. It was about how we were treating each other and how we were functioning to, with each other. That was the real demise of the marriage, not so much the people. It was really how we interacted with one another. We were not effectively communicating. I had a trick that I would do if Art wanted to argue with me about something. I would drop down on my knees and pray because I felt like you can't argue with a person that's praying. Who's gonna argue with me while I pray to God?
All right.
Right. I'm trying to cuss her ass out, and I can't even swear. I can't say shit I want to say because this boy. Okay, you know what? I just left. Like, okay, fine. Right.
So you just break
I'm pretty much trying to say F what you saying. In other words, I'm trying to tell her like F what you saying. I can't say it because she too busy speaking in tongues. So it's like, man, like, oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus.
Yeah,
well, I tried crying, but Warren does not have empathy. So I started crying. Like if things were getting too heated, I would try to get emotional, and Warren would walk out the room. So I feel you.
Yeah. So now I feel like this. I hope that Art learned things from me that he will take in his next relationships. One of the things that I hope that Art learned from being with me, and I'm gonna say this, Art. I hope what you learn from being with me more than anything is how to stand your ground. Meaning that there were times that I like bulldozed Art because of that spoiledness in me. And if he would have just stood his ground, it probably would have helped our marriage a lot. Don't do something just because you think it's going to make me happy. Do something because you know it's going to be in the best decision for us as a couple. Because there were things that I would do and say, hey, we just gonna do it. And he would be like, okay, Gia, because he wanted to make me happy. But in all actuality, what I needed him to do is to say, look, no, I need to treat you like a small child in a moment. This is hot. You can't touch that. I can't let you do this or let you make these decisions just because it's what you want. I need you to look at the bigger picture of this and tell you no. Because it's okay to tell somebody no.
Good stuff, Gia.
Am I the only one hearing that? Sounds real robotic? Or is that?
No, I think you sound real robotic.
I do. It's something on. Okay, it's on my end. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that was
I'm
what
gonna tell you this right now. I think that that was some really good stuff to admit and all that kind of stuff. And I want to give you kudos for that because honestly, I know I had that same issue. A couple times I did stand up and I put my foot down and I came back. I wasn't walking right for a little while afterwards because I honestly, so those kind of things work like every now and then, but they don't work all the time. With strong women, that's your best friend, and you and her are very much so alike. So I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think that works all the time. Because early on in our relationship, I know I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stand up and I'm gonna say no. And I sat there. I remember that day. It was like one of the biggest confrontations we had early on in our relationship. And I kid you not, it was a foundational thing because she would not give up. And it was, and I don't want to rehash what happened, but I kid you not, it was a little small thing that I thought I could say no. Or I would say I thought I could say I was saying no, you know, and it ended up being one of remember is when iPhones just came out, and I bring this up years ago and all that kind of stuff. I know, but it was very much so foundational. It was like
you can't remember, but you remember this.
Yeah, I know because it was like a foundational kind of thing, you know. And I was like no, and I was like. I got up and I got my chest all up and I'm going like this and I'm going like that. She was not okay. Hold on. I'm not doing this to basically air dirty laundry. I'm trying to say is that scenario where you said you needed someone to say no, or you needed somebody to say no, we're going that direction. You also have to be. Yeah, go ahead, Gary. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Art.
Here's the.
Can't hear you, Art.
That's
can you hear me now?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I will say no to Gia, but you know what took a long time for me to realize is that I was married to an alpha woman. And when you're married to an alpha woman, you learn, it's not necessarily that I didn't stand my ground. You learn that I'm not about to die of a heart attack at the age of 35 trying to get this through to her. It's just not going to happen. So I'd rather bow down at that point and just say whatever. Now, Gia was my wife at that point. So whatever it was, it had to benefit me too.
Yes, that's smart. That's being smart, right? You're being smart.
Right. You got to think smart because, again, I would have gave myself a heart attack at the age of 32, 33, 34 years old trying to argue with Gia and trying to be this. No, you're not going to do this. Because at the end of the day, which I don't know everybody, Gia does what she wants to do, period. If Gia has something set in her mind, it ain't a damn person on this earth, not even her father, that could talk her out of what she wants to do. So therefore, I'm not about to argue with you. So, okay, baby, whatever. All right. I mean, so I did stand up for myself and I did stand my ground. But again, I was married to an alpha female, and that makes it difficult. And that's where sometimes where it's like, okay, look between your legs, look between my legs. Okay, let's come on now. But you know, that's ultimately.
She was an alpha female, but she didn't want to be. So we've had these discussions.
That right there.
She didn't want to be an alpha female, just like I don't want to be an alpha female, but I gotta be. It's like I have to be. If I'm an alpha female and I have to be, I'm not in the place I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody to kind of be the real, true man because he wants to be.
Yeah, I think that I'm willing to learn from anybody, or you know, it's not that I'm so headstrong that I can't receive anything. That's never the case with me. I can receive in a moment. You might say something to me, and I might say, "No," you know, I might have my rebuttals to it. But when I take a moment and I really sit back and think about it, well, you can look all you want to look. But when I have my moments and I sit back and I really think about it, there are two things that I can say that are good qualities about me. Is I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong, and I don't mind apologizing to somebody that I've hurt.
You've already proven that, Gia. You've already apologized and you've done some stuff. Art, don't you?
Messages right now.
Yeah.
So if you could apologize to Art, and I wish he was still here. If you could apologize to Art, what would your apology be?
That's between them and Art. Him and Art. You got to go on the radio and on broadcast and say it. You know, not as you want to, but that's between you and Art.
Yeah. What would I apologize for?
Okay, go ahead.
I would apologize for not being forthcoming, or well, let me say this, not being prepared for marriage when we first entered it.
Interesting.
What I mean by that is,
I'm hearing some
you
tears.
know, we're taught that we're supposed to get married, we're supposed to settle down, we're supposed to have kids. And when you get to a certain age, if you haven't done it, it's like, okay, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you had a successful relationship? And in all actuality, I can truly sit and admit that when we first got married, I was not ready for marriage. And because I was not ready for marriage, I was still very selfish. I was still very bullheaded. I was still, I still had lingering things for ex relationships. So I was not really ready to be somebody's wife.
Okay.
And because I wasn't ready to be somebody's wife, when I pulled him in to be my husband, he took the brunt hit from that, because he came in ready to be somebody's husband and I wasn't ready to be somebody's wife fully, but I was accepting the role of a wife, so to speak, because that's what I was taught you were supposed to do. And plus I was being told, oh, well, he's a good catch. He's this, he loves you. He's all into you. He's this. And he was all of those things, but I wasn't ready for all of those things. And so the first couple of years took a toll on us marriage wise. So by the time we got into the real swing of our marriage and I could appreciate him as a husband, the damage was already done from what I had been doing the years prior.
Wow.
Oh, well, I don't know what happened. Sorry, y'all.
No problem. Gia was just apologizing to you, but you missed it.
It's a good
Oh, well,
apology.
hold on. We gotta rewind this. How you do it? How you DVR this? How you rewind it? Wait a minute, Gio apologize. Well, okay, go start over. I'm listening. Let me pull over. Hold on. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Don't be that way all your life. Don't be that way all your life. I've apologized to you.
It don't come that often, so you know, I get excited.
The condensed version of what I said, I apologize for the first couple of years of our marriage because I wasn't really ready to be a wife, and I made it very hard for you. And let me say something. I give Art his kudos on this. Art would go over, above, and beyond to try to put a smile on my face. You know, he would bring me flowers every day, candy, cards. I would wake up limousines outside and queen for a day and all type of the, you know, those over the top romantic stuff, you know, where it was like people around me like, dang, where you find him at? Do he have a brother? You know, he was really doing his job to be a good husband to me, but I wasn't in a place to be a good wife to him. I was letting my spoiled ways kind of take precedence over it, and I was taking advantage of it somewhat too. And like I told them, you got so much heat from me in those first couple of years that by the time I could appreciate who you were as a husband, I had already done damage.
Mm-hmm. Art, if you could apologize to Gia about anything, what would it be?
To be honest with you, I would sincerely apologize for breaking her heart. Granted, I could use whatever excuse I want to at the end of the day, right? But at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror. And there came a time where I saw Gia at her lowest in terms of crying. I've seen Gia cry 100 times, but to know that it came from me, and the way she cried, it was one of them children cries where you just know that child's heart is just broken. That pause in the cry because she was taking so much in, and like Gia says, yes, I'm a romancer. Yes, I like to treat my woman at the time, wife, you know, like the queen that she is. And she put such a high standard on me and never thought that I would do what I did in terms of uh, stepping out of my marriage. Even though we had rocky times, that wasn't an excuse to do it. And to be honest with you, it hurt me to see her hurt. And I tried to justify it with my own, well, she did this and she did that and this happened and that. At the end of the day, dude, you're wrong. And so, and I saw Gia extremely heartbroken. And I'm not putting anything out there, Gia. I mean, I saw Gia taking sleeping pills just to sleep. So that means that me or what I'm doing is on her mind so much that she can't even sleep. And that wasn't right. I mean, in fairness, I should have just left and it should have just been over with. But to be honest with you, I was still in love with Gia, and you know, I just wanted her to change. And like she said at the time, she wasn't trying to. So, you know, I deeply apologize for breaking her heart that way because that wasn't the intentions. I know how it came off, but that wasn't the intentions.
Wow. You guys are really, honestly, you guys have really got a, I know. How about this? I can tell you how I saw things from outside looking in. You have a relationship with Gia. LaDonna had a relationship with Gia. LaDonna even had a relationship with Art. And she told me some things. And honestly, you guys had a real true love. And I was trying to sometimes keep up with that. And I wasn't able to keep up with it. Art, you definitely made a hard person to keep up with on a whole bunch of different stuff. And I just, I can apologize real quick. I can apologize for not being prepared as well because I was not prepared. I had a lot of issues that I probably should. LaDonna did me a favor by marrying me because I wasn't prepared in any type of way. I stepped and asked for it, a marriage, but I wasn't preparing God. I wasn't letting God prepare me throughout the way to get married. And I did get married, but I was not ready. I wasn't. And I thank God for it, but I wasn't ready. And I'll admit it. And, you know, a whole bunch of different stuff. And the reason why our first 3 years, if anything, LaDonna overcompensated. She was probably doing what Art was doing, I'm sure. So I just didn't, I did not at all. I don't know if I didn't appreciate it, but I definitely didn't come with what I was supposed to come with. And then a whole bunch of stuff. It's just, it was not built on, you know what they say, what God says, that, you know, build it on a solid foundation. Yeah, but spiritually, maybe I was somewhat there, it was shaky, but everything else, it was all sand. But everything else was all sand. But
so listen, would that be your apology to LaDonna, Warren?
Oh yeah, of course. I apologize. I think I've done this, but maybe I have. I think I have, but I apologize. She knows me more than anybody else. Listen, let me just say this right now, and please forgive me, guys. I have a couple of things I have to take care of. So I won't be able to stay on.
Like what?
Well, I mean, I do have other responsibilities, and this is the honest, good, and truth. I do have some responsibilities that I got to do, and I put it.
What if I have an apology?
Huh? Oh, yeah. I want to hear your apology. I apologize. Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. I do have one. If I could apologize, it would be to apologize for getting into our marriage thinking that I could change you. It's like that was my focus. Oh, I'll just lead by example. I'll just show him how to be this. I am so sorry. I do apologize for that.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if that's even, you know, something to apologize for. I mean, you're supposed to give your all. Art, you did right. LaDonna, you did right. You know, we weren't prepared. Well, I wasn't prepared. I'll just say me. I wasn't prepared. LaDonna, you're supposed to basically try to help your spouse. Art, you're supposed to, you know, give your all and do some certain things. I mean, that's, you know, and on top of that, Art, you know, I'm not at all a counselor or nothing like that. So, but I think that your situation, none of them, I won't comment on it. Long story short is, I think you guys had a beautiful thing going on, and I got to give it to you guys. I really do. Got to give it to you guys as far as y'all were a beautiful couple, still are beautiful people, and I honestly, divorce is not my proudest moment. I'm okay with it, but it's not my proudest moment, and it's not something I at all celebrate.
Right.
So,
In fact, I want
it's
to
there.
tell everyone out there that's still married, keep your families together so you don't have to go.
Yeah.
Because it takes an effect not only on the two individuals, but if you have kids, psychologically it does take an effect on them. So, and that's who, my parents, on a lighter note or another note, my parents were together for 25 years, and I promise you, they hated each other every day that I was alive.
Wow.
And I didn't understand why. I really didn't. But until I became an adult and got married, I understood why. It was for our kids. Yeah, we didn't see the best of a marriage, but hey, that old saying, through thick and thin, because my parents went through some thick. So
Wow.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And,
It affects the kids.
everybody on here was, except myself, came from a 2-parent home. Like Art, your parents were together forever. Gia, your parents are still together. Warren, your parents were together until your father died. My father left when I was 6. So all I saw was my mother kicking ass and taking names when he came in. So I really had to unlearn that. I want to go ahead and thank our guests, Art Davis and Gia Davis, and whoever's in the car with Art Davis. Thank you.
That's our son.
That's our son. Hello. Say hi.
Hi, little Art, because he looks just like you. But here's the thing. Thank you so much for being on the show and being forthcoming with us on the show and telling everyone the importance of going through the shit and really coming out of it and coming out of it on top, because your kids are amazing. Our kids are amazing. So thank you so much for being on the show, Art and Gia Davis.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Thank
us. This is
you.
really good. This is
Thank
really
you.
good.
Yeah,
And I wish you
appreciate
guys
it.
much
Hey,
success on this
watch it. She
show.
ain't gonna call me for about 2 weeks. I promise you, she ain't. No, I'm joking.
She'll call you. She'll call you.
I call you. But no, I wish you guys much success on this show. I think you guys have a great platform, and I just look forward to watching it. Watching the show evolve. So
Okay.
I'm already a follower, so
yeah,
definitely.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
If you're in Chicago, go to Gigi Willikers September 10th. It's in Lansing, Illinois. Make sure you have your orders ready. We're gonna go to the website, go to the Facebook page.
Wow.
Yes, Gigi Willikers is the new restaurant.
I'll be there next week. So,
okay, cool. You gotta come check us out.
All right. You guys have wonderful.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
gotta check out the bowls. The bowls are fire, and the mild sauce is good. I think she stole it from me, but the mild sauce is good.
Here we go.
Okay. All right.
Everything
I'll
got
be there.
sold from
I'll be
him.
there.
I
All right,
sold it
guys.
all.
I know you did.
Stole it all. That's what's up. That's what's up.
All
That's
right.
supposed to do.
I'm gonna get you guys out of here. Warren, don't go nowhere. Okay.
All right. Bye.
All right, Warren, that was an amazing show. I really had fun tonight.
Same here. I did.
Yes. And you are an amazing dad. Keep doing what you're doing. And I will see you next Friday. Everyone, just make sure you tap in with us. Go ahead and subscribe to the LaDonna Raeh Show on YouTube. And you can find me on Facebook. But I have 5 shows. So tonight was the Divorced and Dating Others show with myself, LaDonna Raeh, and Warren I. And we had our guests, Gia Davis and Art Davis, on to talk about their experience in being married. And I love all of you for your comments. And we're on Clubhouse. Trey Jackson Jr.'s on there listening. And we've got all of our listeners on YouTube and Facebook and the like. Warren, what's up with the Warren I? You did this last time on the phone. What? Is this how you came up with your name?
Actually, I just like Warren I, and I put that together, later.
The Warren I. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it this way, man.
Look, I see your name behind your big ass head. I see it right there on that sign. There was a street sign. The street in Chicago was named after your father. And I think that is so honorable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. Thank you so much for the show. Thank you for the platform. And I appreciate everything. You guys have a wonderful time. We will talk. I really loved it. I really did. I think your smile was so electric. You almost can't see anything with your smile being bing. Which is great. Okay.
Unless. All right, Warren, I'll see you next Friday. Don't call me before then. I'll talk to you then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye for now. All right, guys, we're going to head out of here. Thank you so much for watching Divorced and Dating Others. We had so much fun with Gia and Art Davis, as you heard. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see what's up. This Sunday, I'll be on with the spectacular Akai and Raeh event with my girl, Maya Akai. That's this Sunday at 7 p.m. And you can check us out. We'll be talking about adult things. I might have like Bedroom Bully on there. Her name is Bedroom Bully. She's talking about these remote control vibrating panties. Look, something adult, okay? But we're going to talk about all that ish, right? And then Wednesday, you can tune in with Toasting While Tipping with my girl, Boss Lady Plus 2. That's Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. All of these times are Central Standard Time. And she and I will be on at 8:05. Okay. Talking in the morning, just having fun. And we'll be in the same place. None of this virtual stuff. And then on Thursday, we got Hot Saucing. I'm going to have a special guest host on Hot Saucing, where we talk about being Black in America and how to navigate and get through it all. We also went over my mom was my guest host yesterday. And we talked about some racism that she and I encountered together. So it's going to be a great, great show. All right. That's it. Bye-bye for now. Peace.